Well, it's nice to be back at Boylan again. The last time I was here in the gym, there was a little bit of the excitement for graduation. Of course, I was at, I guess, your first home game a few weeks ago. But the term, the word Boylan, here in Rockford, it always kind of has a certain something that makes people sit up and pay attention to the conversation. The longer I'm here in Rockford, the more I become aware of the fact that when somebody says Boylan, it's a code word for tradition, for excellence, and for a contribution to Rockford itself. I can tell you this just in conversations in so many places. I'm a Boylan grad. That person went to Boylan. What it means is that what you are getting here is not just an education. It means that every day that you are here, you are a part of something bigger than just a process of going to school. When you walk out of here, you are going to have, you might say, 2 badges of honor attached to you. One is your family name, and one is the Boylan name. And in both cases, you bear both an honor and a burden by having that name. Just think about that in your family. Your mom, your dad, your grandparents, fill in the blank. They're typically not overly concerned if you don't get on track to be some nationally or internationally known millionaire who's invented the one thing the world has never seen before. The reason is that the honors and the wealth of this world are really fleeting. I hope that's one of the great lessons of life. The honors of the world are very fleeting. But your parents and your godparents would want something else instead. Did you live up to the standards of your family name? And for almost everyone, that's going to be things like honesty, integrity, generosity, reliability. Are you always there when someone else in the family needs something, needs anything? And if that's the standard, just think of how any dishonor to your family name becomes so painful and so unworthy. Well, there's a similar thought about studying at Boylan. You seniors here, you're the next ones out. Your worldly accomplishments are probably pretty good. Checked the other day, you're in a meeting again, right? Like 6-0. You got a musical coming next month, Godspell, I think. Well, the thing is, the name and the honor and the integrity of Boylan, much as we don't like to admit it, it could survive a loss. It could survive a few missed notes and missteps in the music. We strive for excellence. But like those insurance commercials we see on TV as human beings, we come up short. But Boylan is really brought down if you don't uphold its name, if you don't uphold its honor. That's one of the deepest extras of formation. It's one of the things that makes Boylan something that is not just private school, it's Catholic school. You've got those banners up there. Excellence in Catholic education. It's what Boylan really gives you. Be grateful for that education. But but be grateful for the formation as people, as individuals, as human beings that you get. If it's true for your family name and the name of Boylan that you carry that as you go out, there is that one thing more that you take with you from here. The one thing that goes even beyond your family name and your Boylan name. It is your formation and your growth in the Catholic faith. If people, and they do, are watching you to see if you live up to your family name, they are interested to see if you live up to the values of Boylan when you walk out of here with your degree. They are watching you also to see if you live up to the deeper title, friend of Jesus Christ. Is that person who went to that Catholic school and presents themselves as a Catholic, are they authentic in living those values and friendship and love of Christ deeply? Look at the gospel for a second here this morning. That famous story of Martha and Mary, you know it very well. There's Martha serving in so many ways, and there's Mary sitting at the foot of Jesus, listening to him, learning from him, being formed by him. One of the opportunities we have today is the presence of so many of the donors who have been so generous in making possible the very fact that you're here, in making possible every element of your education. In some ways, the donors who are here are the Marthas for us. They are the ones who have done so much in generosity, in self-giving, and in service, so that you can sit at the foot of your teachers, and ultimately at the foot of Christ himself, and imitate Mary. Having that opportunity, that you, for this moment of your life, don't have to be engaged in the service, but can dedicate yourself to learning, to being receptive to the formation, is a privilege. I think I mentioned it when I was here last year. I've lived abroad for many years, and I have lived in countries and places where the young people with your faces and your age were carrying bricks to the ovens, because that's what they did instead of education. It doesn't have to be this way. It's a privilege. And the privilege even deepens because as Christ tells Martha with all her busyness and worry, Martha, there is only one thing that really matters. As Jesus says, that is listening to me. It is learning to love Jesus and to live for him. One of the things about this is we have to open our hearts to it. You need not just the education, and yes, we want that, we want the excellence, we want to set you up for how you will earn your daily bread, how you will contribute to the world when you are older. But you need the moral and the personal formation that is the context for everything else. This is, as Jesus says, the one thing that matters. And look around. You have a sense of why that is. Look and see how the world and our society is in trouble right now. It's confused. It's uncertain about itself. We almost sense that our society, even our country, is afraid to say that anything is really honest to goodness, right or wrong, or that it can stay that way, or that right and wrong can even be real and not just something that we create, and therefore next week we might decide something different. It basically is afraid to say right and wrong, good and evil, love and justice come from God and are defined by Him. And that's precisely why we need you. We need your joy. We need your faith. We need your willingness to sacrifice. Those sacrifices can be in many, many ways. But the first and best one is to live your faith, to go to Mass, to be willing, joyfully, to stand up and talk about right and wrong. There's another sacrifice that I really need to ask too. Vocations. Ladies, it is not out of place to think about whether God is calling you to a religious life. It's perhaps rarer than it was in my time. But the call and the grace is given. Young men, I need priests. The church needs priests. The Holy Spirit talks to your heart. Think about it. And pray about it. And keep in mind one thing. If God is calling you to any vocation, be it religious life, be it a priest, be it the married life and raising a family, be it anything else, where God is calling you, there you will be happy. That is where He will give you the satisfaction because you've got the wavelength adjusted to what it is that He wanted. And for each and every one of you here, God has a plan. He's big enough to be thinking not of all of us at once, but of each of us as once. We need your voice. We need your witness, your youthful witness, to life, to marriage, to justice. Be grateful for your education. If you have a chance today, say thank you to one of the donors if you walk by them. Thank Mr. Carrigan. Thank your teachers and administrators, all the staff. When was the last time you thanked your parents for the opportunity to be here? Don't just thank them in words. Thank them by giving them the best possible thanks that you can. That is to walk out of here being proud of your friendship with Jesus Christ, being proud of being Catholic.